Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Gilda Evans, bringing you the Autism Resource Podcast. This podcast and the Autism Resource Project website are your one-stop knowledge and resource base for autism and much more. I'm very pleased to have Celia Landman join me as my guest today. Celia is a mindfulness educator offering support to teens and adults. She draws from experiences working with those impacted by trauma, addiction, and anxiety, and creates customized meditation, visualizations, and trainings to reconnect them to what she refers to as their wholeness. Her book, When the Whole World Tips: Parenting Through Crisis with Mindfulness and Balance, describes how to find balance while navigating seemingly impossible parenting situations. Welcome, Celia, and thank you so much for taking the time to join me and discuss the work that you do.
Thank you, Gilda. I'm really happy to be here.
So, to begin with, tell me, what was your motivation for writing this book?
So, this book actually came out of research I was doing in my graduate studies. And I was looking at this idea of equanimity. So, it's a very Buddhist-y word. But I wanted to link some of what happens in the brain with parenting because I had been through some pretty tough stuff with my kids, where I had one child who had a concussion that wasn't resolving, and another child who, at the same time, was experiencing deep depression and social anxiety and had a suicide attempt. So I had these two kids who were not functional. And I was able to walk through that time and get out without as much pain. And I was looking at what happened to me. And my eldest has a mental health condition that will be ongoing. So it's not it's not like, oh, that was it and it's over. It's really a long game, as we know, parenting, it's the longest job that you didn't know you applied for
Yeah,
sometimes.
and there's no courses, right? You just kind of jump in head first.
um yeah, there's things that I think actually are detrimental, that we get enculturated with this idea of what it means to be a parent. And there's this moment when you get this little baby and you fall madly in love. And sometimes it is so difficult. There's a lot that can happen between that hallmark ideal and the actual parenting of a child, especially a child who has difficulty.
Yeah. So, what are some of the most important things that you think you learned going through this process of parenting two kids with various challenges?
Well, one of the biggest, all right, I'm gonna try to stick with three things. And the first one is understanding my capacity, which was huge, because what I learned through the research, which we know this instinctively, is anxiety transmits, pain transmits. That if I'm connected to somebody and I'm stressed and I'm dysregulated, my child feels that. And what studies have shown is it actually intensifies pain in my child when I'm dysregulated. So knowing my capacity, knowing where I was huge for restoring balance. The next thing was learning what to do with that information, what to do with my anxiety or my despair or my depression, how do I take care of it? And that's that mindfulness piece, which involves this skill of unblending. So recognizing the emotion and separating enough to be able to take care of it. So this is a really significant practice. And then the third thing is staying rooted in my intention. So even though I wanted, I want my kids to be okay. I want your brain to work. I want you to be happy. I want you to be well. I wanted all these things. It's knowing that I have no power to make things different. I can't get in there and heal my child's brain as much as I wish I could. I can do things from the outside, but when I just focus on the outcome, it would stop me because I can't make it happen. When I focus on what's my intention, how do I want to bring myself into this moment? What do I want to offer? Stability, warmth, connection. That's where I can take back that agency, which is the understanding that I'm doing something, that my solidity does something. It contributes. So those three things really were the basis of understanding how to survive this, and not just survive, but it was a way to not abandon myself.
Oh my goodness, that is a wonderful perspective. Those are some amazing and very astute observations. Because we all, I mean, basically, we just want the best for our kids, right? And it's, the old adage, put your own oxygen mask on first, before you can help somebody else. And paying attention to all of that you just mentioned, I think is also really crucial. So tell me, do you think that anyone can get to a manageable place when their kids are going through crisis, no matter what it is?
I think if we have support, yeah, that we can be held. And also learning that, learning how to grieve is really important. Sometimes I think culturally we mistake being okay with being happy. And I can be deeply sad and I'm still okay. I can be grieving. I can mourn that this is going on with my child, and I know how to do it in a way that I'm not shattered. I understand it's okay to have my heart broken in this moment. It's okay. And then doing that mindfulness thing where I know how to support myself, how to really show up with kindness and care for my own emotional landscape. So I think it really depends on what our perception of being okay is. And also, knowing that there's a world that's bigger than just us too, that we have more support, or finding that support, finding resources in our world, in our connections, because
Yeah.
we can't do it all alone.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. So, well, along those lines, in your book, you write about something called accompanying our suffering. Can you talk with me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that's exactly what this idea of how we show up for ourselves, because I've been strongly educated that if I felt bad or if I felt something less than wonderful, I needed to fix it. And usually a fix was an outside, was something outside that would come in to help me. You know, we can shop and exercise and turn on the television, and we can, you know, I can call somebody, I can take my mind and move it around so I don't have to be with this thing. It's really hard to show up for what's actually happening, to be alone with my own mind. And when I make this, for me, it's this real commitment that I'm not going to abandon myself. I'm not going to, you know, simply wander away into the world of ice cream and fig Newtons, that I will come back and I'm going to look at this. I'm going to look at what's going on in me. What's this feeling that's arising in me? And the way that it can happen is to have some separation. So that's that piece of mindfulness of feelings. Because if I'm all blended with my feeling, if I'm all sad, I can't even look. But there's a part of us, that awareness, that awareness knows what is sadness. Oh, sadness is like this. And then I find it in my body, because this stuff always shows up. Okay, sadness sits right here in my body, in my chest or my stomach. Oh, it's in my face today. There's my sadness. And I can start to even, I call it like, teach it to breathe with me, or just invite it. Do you want to breathe with me? And I can calm it, I can care for it, and look deeply into what's it telling me? What's it want? What does it need from me? And in that way, I can help it to be seen, help it to be cared for.
Now, you worked in an inpatient mental health facility for teens. What were the most valuable things you learned from that experience and contributed to your clients?
I think one thing is that I know nothing. You know, that's like anytime you work with teens, it's like, oh, I thought I knew something, but actually I know nothing about anything. It's a real teaching in humility. But one of the other hats I wear, I'm also a nonviolent communication trainer, and I've recently become certified in that. And I've been practicing this for years, learning how to speak to teenagers and to my own kids and everyone with this in this practice of recognizing that everything everyone does is in service of meeting their own human needs. Even if it looks from the outside, if it looks like something really unsavory, it's that return to innocence that is offered through the perspective of NVC. It was total relationship gold, because, and also checking in and asking, is this okay for you? This is what I want to do with this group. This is how I want to approach it. How is this landing for you? And giving people choice. And for kids, especially teenagers, being open to hear, well, no, I don't want to do that. And it's like, okay, what's the need there? What's happening for this kid that they don't want to do it? So instead of, because they've had plenty of you have tos, we've all heard that. And to really look, and sometimes we'd spend 40 minutes just listening to what's up for them, that they don't want to do this. And, especially working with kids who are neurodiverse, it's like, oh, yeah, sitting in meditation for you is not something that it increases anxiety. Oh, I get that. Okay, so with this, knowing that I have a contractual obligation to do something with you, How about this? Would this meet that need for you to do Zentangles? Are we going to do that today? How is that for you? Checking in, being open to hearing their truth too. So that for me was really giving up this idea that I knew better.
Yeah, sounds to me like what you're saying is active listening is really, really important, and giving the other person options, right, is really, really important. So let me ask you this. What do you think is the most important takeaway for our listeners to glean from our conversation?
I think noticing how you are doing and really honoring your experience, showing up for yourself, because everything in you is transmitting all the time. And when we do this practice of accompaniment, we learn how to take care of our own pain. So, what I'm transmitting to my kids is what I want to transmit to them. It's the best, the strongest, the most wholesome, supportive thing I can transmit. If I'm scared, oh my God, they're not going to get this. They'll never get a job. Oh, that's what I'm telling them. That's what every cell in my body, despite my best intentions, is saying. When I see what's mine and what's theirs, that's my fear. I've learned that in my life. I mean, my parents were afraid that I would never that I wouldn't be okay. They were going to build a little shed because I wanted to be an artist. And they were going to build a shed in the backyard so I'd have somewhere to go and I wouldn't, live in a dumpster or something. So, it's really that, whose fear is it? Whose emotion is it? I take care of it. So what I offer my child is a gift, not a burden.
Yeah, I think those are wise words. And thank you. Thank you so much, Celia, for your time and for sharing your story with us today.
It's my pleasure. And yeah, I'm really cognizant that parents need so much support. We really need to understand that how we are matters, and it matters so much to our kids.
I couldn't agree more. And if you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast. You can find it on Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, and other popular platforms. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like more information on this topic or anything else we've covered on the Autism Resource Podcast, visit us online at www.autismresourceproject.org/podcast. If you have a topic you'd like us to cover in the future, contact us through the website or comment on any of our social media channels. And be sure to check out our growing website often, since we are continually adding useful information and resources. I want to thank our listeners for spending part of their day with us. This is the Autism Resource Podcast, and I'm Gilda Evans, reminding you to take care of yourself and that special person in your life.